Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to Brave Talk while on holiday. So I am Dr. Melissa Gilio.
And I am Daisy, and we're joining you for another week today. We're so excited since we're both on holiday, and happy Lunar or Chinese New Year to all of you out there. We thought that it would be a good time to talk about how to practice and the importance and value of practicing when we are outside of normal routines, normal school time, and in kind of a holiday mode.
Yes, I think out of the routine, don't have the demands of regular life in school. It's a great opportunity to incorporate that practice while having fun with your family and getting to explore new places. So I think just because we're out of our regular routine doesn't mean that work has to stop. It kind of gives more opportunity to be practicing with new people and in new places. So it's really can be very positive and confidence building.
I think it also like how many opportunities do you have, like that you're out in the community or you're doing new things, you're seeing new people, you're going to new places. All of these provide the kids with so much extra opportunity to practice if you're there to take it.
And it can start as soon as getting to the airport or getting to the train station too. So you can start right away there and just think about all the different people you encounter. Is it at the convenience store in the airport? Is it the flight attendants or by chance to see the pilot? All sorts of things. And that's just the airport. And then wherever you go from there too, the taxi driver, or if you're on a shuttle, the hotel check-in, so many different places, and you can just make it really positive and fun, but also giving them those opportunities to be praised. You're away, you tend to eat out more. So there's lots of choices there with menus. And, I always think of my favorite is, omelet station, deciding what you want there when you go to hotels, all of those things.
How would you best prepare an anxious kid for this change in routine, for going on holiday, for all of these extra opportunities for practicing? Is it something that you'd prepare them for before? Is it something that you kind of, go with the flow as you're going? All these extra opportunities to speak to lots of different people? Or are we going to be quite boundaried about kind of what we're expecting from them in terms of practice and where they're going to practice? I think that would be helpful for parents out there to know.
I think it's good to kind of let your kids know where you're going and kind of what to expect. I tend to not want to go into too much detail minute by minute for the reason that we want to build in some flexibility there. I think some broad strokes around what to expect, what you think's going to happen, what you're hoping to see, and then leaving some room for downtime too. As we know, being overscheduled with kids, like sometimes we don't feel as well. Sometimes we're extra tired if there's jet lag, all sorts of things. We want to have some wiggle room in there. But I think it is good to give them that kind of preparation about what they might encounter and what you're looking forward to also.
Yeah. And I think also those fun moments as well of like, we're going to practice, but we get to go and get an ice cream while we practice, or we're going to go down to the beach. Or there's so many different kind of carrots that you can dangle in terms of creating that excitement and that external reward.
Yes. I think, getting to talk about some of the big things that you might be planning. So it could be, if you're skiing, if you're going to go to a petting zoo, if you're going to go to an aquarium, those types of things too, getting to see what that might be like, and getting them thinking about what they're looking forward to. And then maybe some questions they might want to ask. So again, that preparation ahead of time of what kind of things they might be curious about and how they could get answers to questions.
Yeah, that's really important. Also, just exploring that whole new environment with them as well and kind of getting to their comfort level with that. I think when we do exposures in the clinic, obviously we're very boundaried by what we're asking the kids to do in terms of how many people we're going to ask so that they know the expectations of this is how many people we're going to talk to, and then there will be the prize or reward for completing that exposure, so to
Mhm.
speak. Do you think that parents need to be so boundaried in these new environments? Do they need to prepare their kids, say, hey, we're going to be going to the aquarium and we want to talk to these people, or hey, we're going to be getting an ice cream and then we're going to be going to the beach. We want to do this and this kind of exposure, or can they be a little bit more flexible in terms of the way that they approach it?
I think it depends where their kid is in their kind of phase of treatment. I do think having an expectation per place would be a great idea. And then also being flexible if by chance there isn't enough opportunity to go to a place and there's just not as many people to talk to. And letting your kid know, like, it's part of it is you also being flexible, but having these goals, I think is a really good idea. I think if your child has been in treatment for a bit longer, you could have a goal for the day and then kind of, play around with going above and beyond if they're able to do that really well.
Yeah. So that's really nice as well, because you're basically talking to that flexibility, right? So it's like
Yep.
meeting them where they are, as opposed to kind of coming in with these ideas about what they should be doing, or what you think that they should be doing.
Yeah, and we have created over time those little bravery books that, we do have available that, you can see in there. It has ideas and it does have some scripts inside, but it has really just check marks. Did I practice my brave talking every day? So again, it's really just that reminder and that accountability, I think, more than a specific number every day. Some kids work better with having a specific target goal of numbers. Other kids, it's just having the goal of this is what we're doing every day, and that
Hmm.
can be enough. So I think it depends where your child is at with that. But I like the tracking of it. So then we
Hmm.
can use that as a way to reflect on how amazing this experience has been and how much they did.
And I think it would be good for us to talk a little bit about kind of that practice piece and why it's so important outside of what we do, and why training up parents and caregivers is so important in terms of helping that practice continue when we're not there, or they're not in clinic.
Well, I think the more that we incorporate parents in treatment, and really treatment has, I think, changed over the past decade into where we realize that upskilling the parents and having them really be the agents of change, not just leaning on the therapists, is so powerful because they're with their children all the time.
Mm,
And having that time together carved out away from all the typical stuff when you're away in the context of this is good family time, it's a great time to have those opportunities to practice and to really see what it's like to have that continued practice overall. um, I just, again, we know that new people, new situations are easier for kids because they don't have that history of them not speaking there or feeling as anxious. And everyone hopefully is a little more relaxed on vacation. I mean, that's the hope of going on holiday is that, it's away from the pressures of everyday grind of routine. So, the hope is that because of that, everyone's more relaxed. You're going to have bigger gains overall. But
mm.
also, this is the whole purpose of being on holiday is to be practicing every minute. It's something to incorporate in there as a consistent practice.
And I think it's really easy on holiday, for example, to do things like take a game and maybe practice or play it in a new place that they haven't played before. And you kind of, because you're in that ease, that kind of holiday mode, you're playing games already, perhaps. That's a really nice way to kind of practice brave talking, but without it feeling like, oh, we're practicing, It's just those subtle opportunities as well that we get to slip in there that really kind of add up over time as well.
Because you might have more time too, which is, I think, the
Mm,
other piece here, right? So we have an opportunity where you're away together. You have more time because you're together without running off to the next, responsibility. It really lends itself to be a great time to be practicing and for them just to be feeling good and comfortable and seeing that growth afterwards when you reflect. You're like, it was so great how loudly you were playing the game in there. I had so much fun playing with you. I love that we have this extra time together to be doing it. If you don't have a game, you can always buy one. That's another opportunity to practice right there, too. Like there's just ample opportunity. You just have to really get into that exposure lifestyle kind of mindset where I'm I want to make this progress. I want to help them see the growth that can happen and not be over accommodating and enabling by talking for them.
Yeah, and I think that's to your point earlier, where our Brave Talking booklet is a really good resource that we created just for holidays because it is sort of acting as that companion guide to kind of remind you, hey, we can practice. These are people we can practice on. These, sample scripts we can use just to kind of make you feel more confident that you're kind of on the right track. And we have some of those resources as well in our journal, which again is a really nice resource to kind of help guide those exposures or those brave talking practices if you feel, that you need a little bit of a guide, or it would be helpful to have some tips, and especially on the caregiver side, for how you can best support your child when they're going through these exposures, and what to do if they don't quite manage to reach that goal yet, and how to kind of backtrack or adjust the goal as you go.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to help them be just open-minded to adjusting as needed, and that, the part of the holiday is to connect and be together and really, continue to have that strong attachment to your kid. It's also just a great time to, when you have that trusting relationship, know that you can try some new things and you can incorporate that. And, again, without the rush, there's a higher
Yeah.
likelihood things will go well. I think so often when anxious kids are rushed, that's when we start to see more behavior kind of erupting because
Hmm.
they're just feeling that stress already and they can't just activate as quickly. So, you might get behavior instead. And so having just more time to settle and, give it that
Yeah.
space. And when they're ready, again, everything kind of goes into that vacation mode of like, it'll be okay. Like, we're here to enjoy ourselves.
I
Yeah.
think it's also that caregiver relaxation as well, right? That what they're exuding in the situation is gonna rub off on what the child is feeling as well. So if you feel, more relaxed, calmer, less stresses and strains of the day-to-day world on you, then they're gonna feel that as well.
So I think this is all super helpful. I think we should start to really talk about any fun patient updates we get to, because I think that's always something that people want to hear about. And just before we jumped on, you were talking about getting an update from a family that moved to a whole new place from Hong Kong. That a little boy we worked with for a while who had made great growth when we were with him
Oh.
here, but moving to a new country, completely different. So what's the update?
So the update is that he is doing wonderfully. We got videos of him singing on the stage at school at a Christmas concert. We got videos of him doing a piano recital by himself, solo, and we got videos of him talking in the class, which honestly was just the best. And I think the update from Mum as well is not only is he doing so fantastically, but is also how much he talks about how fun treatment was and how much fun he had with us, and how he wants to see us again, which is honestly just the icing on the cake of the best outcome ever, really, I think, isn't it?
I just love that, with good treatment and care and consistency, we can see these gains really happen and be sustained, which I think is really important too. But also that they continue to grow. So again, that new school, new country, new place, it worked well because of all the work we did leading up to it and
Yeah.
consistent parent practice.
Yeah.
There are kids who get better. There are kids who see huge improvements where the selective mutism part of their life is something that feels very distant and far away, or they might not even remember because they feel like themselves in more environments.
Yeah. And that's just honestly just the best text message ever to receive at the beginning of Chinese New Year. And we love to hear these stories. And, everyone works so hard, but no one works as hard as the kid involved, you know? And to see this kid in particular just was such a button and so cute and small when we first saw him, to see him kind of thrive and grow and just be there, chatting with his friends. Yeah, it's the best. Doesn't get better
It's
than that.
yes, exactly, and I think it's important for parents to know that, they shouldn't need to have hope that, um, their caring and their noticing is the great beginning step, and then, getting in contact with people who know how to support is huge, and we all want our kids to thrive to the best of their ability and be who they are when they're most comfortable out in other environments.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And to see
Well,
that
good.
is just wonderful. Yeah, we're so happy.
Well, enjoy the rest of your holiday.
You too.
I am going to be in Australia the rest of the week. I'm trying to enjoy mine, getting some sun. And where are you?
And Thailand as well. I'm trying to avoid the sun after one day, first day sunbathing incident. That's it for me.
Key mistake, rookie mistake. No, vitamin D. I'm all
Okay.
about it. Safely though. But no, I'm good. I'm glad we got to connect again. And we're trying to bring Brave Talk to as many families out there who want to learn more about managing anxiety and just bravery that's in people's life, brave acts that they've done, and how people have overcome different challenges, not just related to SM and
Yeah,
um anxiety disorders, but just in general, like we all have bravery to grow in different ways. And I think that can
yeah.
inspire others.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and I think it's all that brave journey as well, you know? Like, it's just this kid that we've just seen, his journey was not a long one, but not a short one either, and,
Yeah.
that bravery that it takes over time to get to where he's got to, and sometimes as well, the tiny little steps that maybe are unnoticeable to others that we notice, or we see the change over time, and I think those are the kind of stories that we really wanna highlight as well.
Yeah. It's not massive leaps, it's tiny
Yeah,
steps that add up
tiny
over time.
steps.
I
Yeah,
think that's a really important message to leave on. So keep taking those tiny steps and know that progress is not linear and huge change doesn't happen in a day, but it will happen with consistency. So bravery can happen anywhere.
keep practicing.
Keep practicing and enjoy your holidays.
All
Bye.
right.